couple times. There were some bright spots, obviously. Charles Ross, who busted a 100-yard barrier, averaged over 8 yards a carry, I think, on the night. And Vance McDonald, who had 4 receptions and had 4 big plays. 3 of those plays were for first downs. I mean, a guy like that who continues to come on. I thought Taylor had a good night. Obviously didn't throw it to the other team. Every once in a while you'd like to make him a little quicker decision, but tucked it when he needed to and got his first downs in those situations. And so there are a lot of bright spots to take out of that game. But obviously certain things loom, and first being a loss and second being turnovers. So we've got to continue to work to eliminate those things. I think when you look ahead at the schedule and not looking too far, just looking at this week, knowing that Marshall's a very similar explosive offensive team. I think they're first in the nation in passing and averaging 38 points a game offensively. And so we look at those things from our side of the ball, even though we're not playing their offense, to kind of know what to expect, what kind of game we need to play as well. Because we're always talking about going out and beating them. And defensively, they've given up some numbers, but at the same time, they're playing hard. They're playing a lot of young guys, had a lot of seniors last year. I think it's a game that our kids are excited about. We're going to go ahead and put this one behind us this afternoon and start on Marshall and get moving. I think it's a game that they felt like we let slip through our fingers last year towards the end of the game when maybe we started a little bit slow and then had a very good third quarter and beginning of fourth quarter let us slip away at the end when we thought we had a chance to pick up a win there in our third conference game of the year. So I think our kids are excited about that. I know offensively we're going to focus on basically our preparation and then just executing what we talk about as coaches. And so that will be our focus as it is each week, with the hopeful result being beating Marshall. So I'll certainly take any questions and do my best to answer those.
Can you talk a little bit more about Charles and him missing last year and really even coming off of the injury in the first game? He played well against Kansas, and kind of just having him back in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a guy who runs as fast as he does, as big as he is, and who I think, at least in my experience with him for the first time in his career, running the way I think he should run, which is powerful. I mean, he was tough. He moved some piles the other night. I mean, and that's not taken away from any of our other backs. I think they did as well. But I mean, I think he was making it a point, making it his mission to make sure that every time he got hit, he was getting yards after contact. Certainly coming off the injury last year, it was all but tragic, I guess, when he pulled that hamstring against Southern Miss, because I think he was on his way to having a good year. But I think he's come back, he's healthy, he's confident in it. Got banged up in the first game, and I think surprised even himself when he ended up playing against Kansas and healing well. And I think he's just going to continue to get better and better. And certainly, when you have a guy like that, I mean, I don't think he's had a negative rush yet this season. He may have had credit for it on the first play of the season because it was a lateral instead of a forward pass, but a true run game call. I don't know that I know I'm pretty close. If it's one, it's one. It's not more than that.
In terms of the running, you've done this before, but early on you used Vance and some of those in rounds. Kind of talk about what you like in that with him and maybe developing him more into that.
Yeah, I think certainly week to week we try to come up with a wrinkle or two that we see schematically will be good for us, but still within the structure of what we do, so our kids don't have a ton of learning. Because unlike in NFL, we get these guys for at no more than 4 hours a day, and very seldom do we even get them for that around here with their schedule. So you try to do it within. Now I will say that he is a guy you want to put the ball in his hands because he gets first downs. I think you saw that at Kansas when it's 4th and 4 and everything's covered and he makes it happen. And, the first run, schematically we saw it. Charles had a great block on the play, and Vance took it and still fought to get the first down. The next play, we run the exact same play and he almost gets 10 again. So we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to do some little things like that and continue to try to find ways. The only way you can guarantee getting somebody the football is to hand it to them. And even then, sometimes it's tricky. So we're going to continue to find a way to get the ball in the hands of guys that can make plays for us.
Did you like the amount of plays that you were able to run against Louisiana Tech?
Well, I think anytime you get a chance to run 99, I think we had 99 calls in the game. I don't know how many actual plays we ran, but I know the tape stopped at 99. I mean, certainly offensively, it gives me a chance to call a lot of different things. You know, I would like to think that in some games you'll get that, you'll continue to get that. In other games, you know, the defense can dictate a little bit how fast you do want to go. We felt like at times we wanted to go fast, and times we didn't. So, you know, I'll take 52 plays if it means we're going to win. So, but certainly 99 is kind of fun, and you know, gives you a chance, your kids a chance to do some things.
Offensively, guys like Taylor were saying after the game, you don't want to get into a shootout, but at the same time, your offense, whether it was coming back from 19 down against UCLA or has shown the ability to score and move the ball. Are you, compared to maybe last year, are you a little bit more optimistic about what's being done consistently, even though it's kind of after some of the slow starts?
You know, I'm concerned about the slow starts a little bit. I think that we've got to do a better job getting them ready to play, and however that may be. It may be us, it may be our players. We got to do a better job with that. I am pleased with the fact that it hasn't turned into an entire game of that ever. You know, we have been able to accelerate. We've been able to get some things done. You know, I think that not worrying about it getting to a shootout, I mean, that's not even something, honestly, that I ever worry about. I can go back to last year and our Houston game, which was obviously a devastating, it wasn't a fun loss at all for us, but never do I get caught up in the scoreboard, you know, until you get close to the end of the game where you have to be. We're just, hopefully our players are just focusing on playing the next play. And if it turns into a shootout, then so be it. You know, we can't, offensively, and our players offensively can't control anything else except what they do on any particular play. And so that's hopefully we can continue to keep our focus in and win them however we have to win them.
No, it's early in the week, but maybe a little on Marshall, their defense.
Yeah, it is early in the week, especially for us and me, not used to taking time away from doing this. This is usually when I'm looking at them. But, you know, obviously, I've glanced at their numbers, and they're giving up some yardage. Now, they've also played one of the top offenses in the country in West Virginia. So I'm not going to let that deter me. I will say I'm glad that Vinny Curry's not playing. I mean, I think he had the game of his life and maybe got drafted based upon his game against us last year. But they run well. I mean, they're similar in structure to what we do. They're kind of a 4-2-5. They'll get into salon front stuff. They're going to be some zone blitz. They're going to play a lot of man free. You know, their defensive coordinator is a guy who was coaching at Syracuse when I was playing, and so he knows my background and knows what we're going to try to do. So I'm sure a little bit of that, you know, factors into it. But they run well. You know, they've got some really good, pretty-looking athletes that are running well, and they're making plays. So I think it's a great challenge for us. I think we'll have to, you know, we've been pretty balanced. I think 230-something calls this year. We've been right at 49% pass and 44% run, and the rest are penalties. And so, you know, we're going to try to continue to do that against a team that runs real well.
Anything else?